Morning everybody, Mike from FisherMN here. Back at it again today. Brand new lake. Just looked it up on Google Earth last night. Gonna see what we can get. Google Earth and the Minnesota DNR. It's a good way to get some information about a lake. They had some information that there's a few big ones in here as far as bass go. So that's what we're gonna be targeting. I'm gonna stop that intro right there. Very optimistic intro. I was so hopeful on a new lake that I was going to catch some bass. It's definitely a lake once the water comes up here in Minnesota that's going to be on the short list to try. Very close to where I live, not more than a half an hour away. But this day the bite was a little different than what I expected it to be. Still caught some fish, just not my target species heading into the morning. I wanted to take a minute and talk about these days where we don't catch fish. Don't get me wrong, I love catching those big bass. I love those days where the boat's filling up with fish, but this day had a lot of value in it and it didn't exactly come from the fish. So I'm going to show you the fish that I caught on the lake, then I'm going to tell you why I thought the day had some value. Here's the fish.
What do we got?
The frogs.
Oh, all right. Got the skunk out of the boat and the frog wrecker in the boat. It's always nice to get that first fish in the boat on a new lake. Frog wrecker. Alright, I'm going to do something that I rarely do at sunup. That is, I'm going to be fishing below the surface. We'll start by just tying it right on the line. It's a clear lake, but we still have some cover because it's morning. See what this arashi can do for us. Alright, here we go. See what's hanging out just off the edge of these weeds. There we go. Can see them just dropping off there. I'm gonna be fishing right there, and look at all these marks right off of the weeds. Definitely got to get the yellow out later. Still making long casts because we're just searching them out. Oh, I think that was a fish. As soon as it hit the water. Well, we're getting some northerns. They're not tiny, but they're not huge. Northern. All right, a couple of northerns in the boat. It's always good to confirm that a fish will eat the bait you're throwing, because sometimes it seems like maybe I'm throwing the wrong thing. Fish on. Hey, looks like we got our first bass. That one's got a little more pull to it. There we go, nice looking northern. Whew. There we go, we're scratching out a day. New lake, kind of working my way around it, actually all the way around it. The edges are going to be great once the water comes up, so this lake will definitely be locked in my brain to try it on higher water conditions. The panfish, tiny, just some tiny fish with the yellow today, and then just fishing right off the edge here, finding some northerns and a few bass. Keep going. So I will say, fishing wise, it was rewarding using kind of a new bait, that square bill crankbait, and figuring out some areas where the fish were. As you can see, I was a little stubborn at the beginning of the day, but made the switch, and that crankbait paid off with some nice northerns. Now, here's what happened. I was hoping in the morning to get some bass on film so that I could use them for a winter project that I'm working on. But I forgot my ruler, so I caught a, I don't know, probably 12-inch bass, and I thought, well, just in case, I better get it measured. So I cruised around the corner, I wasn't too far from the landing, and went to my car, got the hog trough measuring stick, and this guy stopped me. He drove up right when I was coming in, and he was so excited. He was like, I've never seen a boat like yours. And I said, come on over and check it out. And for the next probably 20 minutes, half an hour, we just stood on the dock and talked about fishing, talked about the lake. He got to see my boat, and I told him all about it and how it works and everything. That was actually pretty cool. He answered some questions I had about pesticides used on the lake. He kind of spearheads on this particular lake the pesticides that they use to kill off the weeds, and then talked about how sometimes the weeds die and then they settle to the bottom, and he was really into the health of the lake, and he lived on the lake. And I thought it was so cool. Somebody who lived on the lake took an interest in keeping the lake healthy. He was talking about how sometimes when boats power load, they have to go in and backfill some of the holes and things that are left. So at this landing, there's signs about no power loading, but it really does have an effect on those, I don't know, I guess I'd call it a neighborhood lake. So just kind of a fun conversation with the guy, and learned a lot about the lake. As we were talking and sharing information back and forth, he even gave me a couple of good tips about the lake. So with the fishing kind of wrapping up for the morning, I went and got some lunch. On the way home, I went through St. Francis, Minnesota. And if you know St. Francis, the Rum River goes right through it. And there's a stretch before I got my kayak that I would wade in and fish. And I knew with the river being low, there was a couple of deep spots, and that got me thinking, ooh, big smallies are probably just sitting in these deep spots. So I went over to the river. Once again, it didn't quite turn out how I thought it was going to turn out, but something pretty cool happened. So I'll show you the two fish I caught. I caught a smallie and a northern. Here they are. There we go. It's a nice smallie. It's a smallmouth. Thank you. All right, recent rain River is probably a little deeper. Not a lot of pressure. Not quite our 20-incher, but you know what? We'll take it. Oh, there's a fish ready to hit. Northern. Looks like we got him on the end of the mouth too, so. Chunky little river northern. So I highlighted the back and forth of me talking to somebody, and let me tell you, there were 3 boys, I would say, I don't know, maybe between 6 and 9 years old, and they got out of their car as soon as I got to the Rum River spot, and one of them yells over to me, he goes, "Hey mister, is it okay if we fish here?" And I'm like, yes, definitely, go down there and fish, I hope you catch a monster. And these guys knew what they were doing. They were with their babysitter, and they were throwing out little hooks with some worm on it. And before I even got my wading in, they had already caught about 3 or 4 smallmouth bass. And just to hear the excitement in their voice, you know, for me, that's what it's all about. I love to see kids getting involved in the outdoors and doing some fishing. So that just, it kind of warmed my heart that day to be able to hear that and see that. Now, when I caught my first smallie, I highlighted, you know, the little one yelled over and, "Hey, what is it?" And he's, "Good catch," you know, or something like that. And I thought that was pretty cool that they were so aware of everything that was going on. So when I got done fishing, here's the really cool part, or the thing I thought was really cool. I'm getting my car all packed up, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna see if they want a sticker, because I've got FisherMN bumper stickers. So I asked their babysitter if it was okay if I gave them a sticker, because her and I had talked a little bit about fishing and stuff when I was coming off the river. Of course, the 3 were still fishing out there, but they were finishing up and they came off, and I gave them a sticker. And I tell you, it was like I gave them each $100. And so they're going to the car all excited and stuff that they got this FisherMN sticker, whatever a FisherMN is. And I'm about to get in my car, and I hear the youngest one, I think it was, and he said, "This is the best day of my life." So you know what? It's those little things we can do, maybe taking somebody fishing, maybe helping somebody out if they're having trouble with their tackle, or netting a fish for them, or whatever we can do. But that just made my day. And I guarantee you that in some elementary class, for show and tell, there's going to be a little boy standing up with a FisherMN sticker talking about his day of fishing. And that makes me feel great, because I love it when kids are involved in the outdoors. Well, there you have it. Not a whole lot of monsters, but in my opinion, it's going to be one of my most memorable days of 2021 on the water. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.